you could literally probably hear a pin drop if it did. So there wasn't a whole lot of reaction or emotion from anyone in the courtroom. Jordan Davis's parents, Michael Dunn's family. Another moment that made some people smile was at one point Judge Hailey came out of his chambers and started talking to the attorneys and then realized they weren't in there. And he goes, well, I guess I'm talking to myself, and that brought out some laughs. So I think people appreciate his humor, and they've definitely gained a lot of respect for him over the past couple of weeks. I'm trying to get more information from police. They are getting ready to, I think, go over and brief Scott Johnson. So as soon as he gets information, we'll bring it to you. Forget their bathing suits. A lot of people want to show up to Jacksonville Beach in their birthday suits. But Mayor Charlie Latham says on his watch, that's just not going to happen. Mary, he lives in Clay County, but he's being held here because this is where he was cashing those checks. He's charged with more than 250 counts of grand theft and fraud. Even though the Players takes place in another county and doesn't start till next week, we're celebrating it right here, right now, in downtown Jacksonville.
Travis, do you trust me?
Smart photographer.
Get another handful with the other hand. So pull it back with this one. And grab another, and then move that around there. Keep doing that.
Oh my gosh, I'm flying a blimp right now.
Got my safety goggles on. Is that sharp?
It's a machete blade. It's kind of, it's dull, but when it's hot, it doesn't matter.
For the grand finale, Go Jags! The car is so mangled, it's hard to make out or imagine what it was like for the person inside. It was St. Johns County Deputy James Anderson, killed by a drunk driver going the wrong way. A nauseatingly similar scene at other DUI crashes.
The part that's frustrating for us is the fact that it's 100% preventable.
But time and time again, people choose to drink and crank the engine. And it leads to this.
There's no easy way to tell a family that their loved one's not coming home.
It was shriek after shriek Corporal Dave Rosado heard in family living rooms after telling mothers they've lost their children, or husbands, their wives are dead, when he decided to do something about it.
1004, you notice how the white of the eyes are covered up on that side?
Teach this class, advanced DUI training for officers to hone their skills. His helpers, people under the influence.
I cannot operate right now.
Siobhan Boatwright is one of 4 volunteers troopers dosed for the course. The dosees were given a certain amount of alcohol over the course of 3 hours on an empty stomach with light snacks. This person, for example, was given 3 ounces of liquor at 10 a.m. Then another 45 minutes later, they were given another 3 ounces. And then around noon, they were given 4 more ounces. So the legal limit is 0.08. This person measured at 0.094. The measurements are taken every hour by dosees blowing into a breathalyzer.
What?
Boatwright is just over the legal limit, which allows officers to study his behavior.
Actually having them smell the alcohol in these people, actually physically seeing them and perform the exercises, then giving the orders and the instructions how to do the field sobriety exercises. I think it's better. I mean, you get that, you actually see it in person rather than on a video screen.
Put your left foot on the white line, okay, and then put your right foot above it.
1, 2, 3.
Volunteers, all with a blood alcohol content right around 0.08, are instructed to follow the student's finger, balance on one leg, and take 9 heel-to-toe steps.
Walking in a straight line, holding your foot out, doing the eye test, it opens your mind up a little bit and see that you're actually, when you think you can function, you really can't.
Can't at just over 0.08. But even drivers under the legal limit aren't in the clear.
One can be under the influence or intoxicated at a level below 0.08.
And still get a detour.
That is correct.
As we know, the state's legal limit is 0.08. Somebody does not have to be at a 0.08 or above to be impaired. You may have somebody that doesn't drink a lot, or we call it lightweight. They could be at a 0.05 and be impaired.
Giovanni Ocampo blew just under the legal limit, but troopers say they still would have arrested him based on his field sobriety performance.
At that moment, you don't think it's to help you, but at the end of the day, it's to help you make sure you're not a danger to everybody else on the road.
A danger even if you're not technically drunk.
Most of the excuses we get on the roadside is, I drink to fill a buzz. And what's very important about that is buzz driving is drunk driving. Because in itself, you're admitting to yourself that if you feel a buzz, you're under the influence of alcohol.
When you think you had one drink and you think you might be okay to drive, you're really not.
Officers can go through this type of specialized training, set up DUI checkpoints, and contribute to public service announcements.
Don't drink and drive.
But they say what it's really going to take is people making the choice not to drink and drive, so children like Anderson's don't have to bury their dad.
It's going to start with the people. They have to make better decisions. That's all there is to it.
I spoke with DUI attorneys who say the fact that you can be convicted of a DUI while blowing under the legal limit is a crime and a shame. DUI attorney David Robbins calls the field sobriety test failure-based and voodoo and says it's based on an officer's opinion. Reporting live at Florida Highway Patrol headquarters, Hailey Winslow, Channel 4, the local station. She's a spitting image of her mom at that age. 2.5-year-old Olivia Jackson playing on the bed with her sister and cousin.
They understand that their mommy's not coming back, but they don't fully grasp exactly where she's at.
From the time Sherilyn Craighauser wakes up to the time she goes to bed, she thinks about what happened to her daughter.
It was like last night, I was in my bedroom alone, and I was putting clothes up, and I just dropped to my knees and I cried. And I cried, and I cried, and I cried. I cried harder than I think I've ever cried. And the girls came in and they hugged me and they said, "We miss her too, Granny."
Craighauser knew something was wrong when she had a knock at the door at 2:30 in the morning on October 31st. It was the chief of police, Lake City Mayor, and Craighauser's dad.
I'm looking around and I thought it was my sister, and he says, "No, baby, it's Brandy." And everything at that moment just stopped. I don't remember anything else. I mean, they're trying to tell me all this stuff, and they keep saying, "Are you all right?" And I can't understand what they're saying. I can't hear them. I can't understand them. The only thing I knew was that my baby was gone. I never thought I would bury one of my children. Parents are not supposed to do that, you know?
It's unfathomable pain Craighauser may never get over, losing her 24-year-old daughter and best friend, and trying to explain to 4-year-old Ava why her mommy's not coming home. But Officer Brandy Jackson's family is also focusing on celebrating her life.
I've got awards in here from when she was in elementary school of being the friendliest, of being physically fit or outgoing, and that's who she was.
A person who adored her kids and family and loved nothing more than serving her community. Now that community is returning the favor by supporting Officer Jackson's family.
I just have to stop and cry and hug their neck and thank them. People I don't even know. Brandy touched a lot of people's lives, and it shows. It really does.